This is my Grinderino build. It is DJI O3 6S and is sub 250 grams. And I think it might be the first one like it. And there's a good reason for that, but more on that later on. So I finished this a little while ago. I haven't been able to fly it though, because the weather in Switzerland has been shocking. So you may have noticed that I'm actually not in Switzerland at the moment. I have traveled 1,000 miles to Mallorca to actually take a test flight of this. Do I need to put an SD card in? Probably, just in case. What if it's like the most epic footage ever? Please don't explode. Okay, I'm just going to test it at arms. Might stand back a little bit. Woo! Okay. First flight, the Grinderino. Clear? Holy sh! Yeah, those motors are a little bit more powerful. I've got a lot more prop in the view. Maybe I won't go to the just going to bring this in slowly. See if I can get it under here. Oop.
Everything fell off.
Everything fell off. Oh, that's just the skids. So yeah, I have a lot of debris in there, but it flies nice. It flies good. I'm liking it. Okay, let's do this again. I'm gonna tilt the camera angle up a little bit because it's a little bit low. Clear, clear. I've actually killed 2 of the solder joints on the motors, which you can't really see there. So I have to resolder those up. I didn't bring a soldering iron with me. In hindsight, going under that bridge straight away may have been a bit of a mistake. But it flies nice. It did fly nice for that 20 seconds. So I know you're here to see how I built that Grinderino under 250 grams, but I had to take my Siren F3 out for a quick flight as well. And then, you know, because I just learned my lesson by flying under that bridge and breaking one quad, I thought I'd take this one straight underneath, hit the same gap, and no, I actually made it this time, so pretty good. Let's cut to the build video and I'll show you how I did this with all the parts and the detail and everything. So I've just made it back to the hotel and I've taken a closer look at the Grinderino, and the damage is actually a little bit worse than I thought it was. Motor wire has come off here and that's what caused the kind of flip out, but also this motor is completely jammed. I don't know if you can see that on the video. It's completely bent. It's pretty jammed up. I don't know whether I'm going to have to fix that. I do have a spare at home, I just don't have it with me here. I was really hoping to kind of fly this. It flew really nicely for that first 30 seconds or whatever it was until I crashed it. The irony being is that I was literally watching Botgrinder's video of him traveling 50 miles by bike to go and fly his Grinderino in a big bando and then crash it on the first pack. And then I ended up doing the same thing somehow. Anyway, let me show you what I used to build this thing. I'm going to take it over to the desk over here, pull it apart a little bit and show you the components that are in there in case you want to build your own one of these as well. And if it's helpful for people and you want me to make a full build video of this thing, I have just ordered another Grinderino frame. So I'm happy to film that second build and give you all of the detail behind it as well. Let me know in the comments. So let's take this apart and show you what's inside. I'm gonna take off this top plate so that you can see what is inside. So at first I figured I could use the same insides as the build on my quad moolah. However, the frame is a lot heavier, the arms are much chunkier. I think it's about 10 grams more, so I had to save weight. Along with the 3.5-inch props, these are slightly heavier as well. And what I did was, instead of using the T-motor stack, I ended up using this, which is a Flywoo all-in-one. It is actually the Goku HD 745 Evo. It's 40 amp, it runs BL Heli 32. It is DJI plug and play to make things a little bit easier as well. Now, when it comes to the DJI O3, you might be noticing that this doesn't one looked like a DJI O3. I got this from Flywoo as well, who just started doing the DJI O3 Lite. So this still does have the SD card reader in it. And what that's allowed me to do is get a little bit of space in here. The other AIOs I looked at, there's not a lot of room there. So I went with this one, which is kind of a 20 by 20 mounting pattern. Just on that, I had to mount this backwards because basically there wasn't enough room in between here for me to mount the pigtail for the power and also for the capacitor. And even turning this around the other way, I couldn't put the capacitor inside the frame. There's just not enough space to get it in there. If somebody's figured out a better way of doing this, let me know, but I've actually 3D printed this mount here, which allows you to then attach this to the standoff, and then I had to extend the wires into the power of the AIO as well. Just on the mounting pattern, this is a 20 by 20 in M2, whereas the actual frame itself comes with M3 holes. So I've actually 3D printed adapters. I can probably show you these on the camera. You can see these underneath. They are kind of in there, which allows me to use the M2 screws to mount this AIO. Originally, I'd actually planned on using the same 1604 motors that are on the quad Mueller frame, like you can see here. These are ultra lightweight, really responsive, and I love flying with this thing. The only thing is that on the Grinderino, you'll see that the pattern for mounting the holes is actually 12 by 12, or you've got the Aerolite, oh my god, pattern mounting holes there as well. So I actually couldn't mount these 1605s, 1604s, sorry. I had to move up to these, which is the 1804, and these are still lighter than most other motors of this size, but it did add an extra, I think it was like another 5 or 6 grams to the entire build. So then I ended up having to save that somewhere else, but I'll show you how I did that in just a second. Wasn't really sure why they didn't include a 9x9 mounting pattern, given this is a 3.5 inch. Oh my god, have I guess listened to the feedback on these mounting patterns, and now the newer arms plus the new frames that you buy from them come with a 9x9 pattern as well. So actually you could use the 1604 motors. All of that together came to about 255 grams. Let me move this over here for a second. Now the battery strap that the Grinderino comes with is a little bit heavy. I tried this one from Beyond Earth. I also tried this one from Quad Mueller, and I tried this one from Ethics as well. The only thing is that all three of them were quite big for that 380 milliamp battery that I used. I found this from StanFPV. Let me move these out of the way for you. It is a short, lightweight battery strap. They're amazing. I got like a few of these for additional builds. So 3.5 inch props. Most people use the Emax Avan props, but on this one I chose to go with the HQ 3.5 by 2 by 3. It's about 50% saving in weight just by using these. And I managed to get this down to about 249 grams at that point. I didn't have any protection on the front here, and I really wanted to include that because that O3 camera sticks out, and I just wanted to make sure that I'm not ruining the frame or the camera. So in order to save some weight so that I could add some protection onto this, I decided to change all of the hardware. This is like all of the screws here, and you can probably see this, they're like a slightly different color. I replaced pretty much every bolt aside from these ones at the back here on the DJI O3. Everything else on this I replaced with titanium bolts, and that includes the propeller mount screws as well. I saved 5 grams, and that allowed me to add this kind of chin protector on the front here. So I hope showing you how I built this Grinderino Sub250 was helpful. Let me know in the comments if you guys have done something similar. I would love to check out other people's builds as well. But getting this Sub250 with an O3 Air unit was a challenge, but I'm glad I did it because I learned quite a lot in this build. In my next FPV video, I'm going to be testing out the Sub250 bind and fly freestyle drones that you guys have suggested in the comments of some of my videos. I've picked 3 of the most popular ones, and the results were kind of unexpected. So please consider subscribing, and I'll see you in that video.